Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Il Toro punishing Toro. 2-1 Inter against Torino. Yes, Mo, that is exactly it. That's for the day. That's the celebration of the day today. Lautaro haters in the mud. I've not been hearing about Lautaro haters for a few weeks now. Man, but that was not a good performance. That was not a good match to watch on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday morning for you. I'd rather be doing other things, but that's life as an Inter fan, right, Mo? What was your thoughts on that match?
3 points. Okay, you gotta win when you play ugly, right? Like when it's not your day, you gotta win. And this is what I saw today. Is I thought that the last 15 minutes after they scored on us, we tried. Maybe we were flat, as our friends say, but we tried. And I gotta give it to the guys that we're not gonna have a great game every game, but we won, right? This is what matters at this point. And Torino, they were resilient, they were stubborn, they tried, they played, even without their best players, they played. And I'm happy with the 3 points. 3 points on the board makes us a step closer, right? This is what it is.
That's exactly it, Mo, man. That's exactly it. So vital, these 3 points. But there was a moment that it looked like the 3 points were not gonna be, clinched, isn't it? There was the point we went 1-0 up, Lukaku scored his penalty, and then we conceded such a stupid goal. Like that was like ridiculous. I can't even describe what happened. It was just utter chaos in that box. But was there a foul in that goal? Or do you think there was a foul?
I don't think so. I play football, and I know that a lot of people moaned about the push, but the push is not enough for Skriniar to fall that hard. It wasn't enough, right?
Yeah.
And I have to say something here about Inter, that we have to live with the fact that for Inter, we always do not get the call and then they look at VAR. And it was because it was not clear and obvious, they do not reverse it. For other teams, and I'm not going to mention the names, everybody know themselves, they get the call first and then they look at VAR and then it's not clear and obvious, so the penalty stands or the goal stands. For us, he didn't whistle, so the VAR told him, you know what, it's a 50-50, it's not clear and obvious, goal stands. That's the difference. And I'm not saying that it always happens, but sometimes I see it happening with us more often, but I don't think it's a foul. Okay, I'm the referee. If I was on that field, I wouldn't give it as a foul. So is Valeri right? Off the hook.
Yeah.
Off the hook.
You're right. Yeah. If he already said that he's not sure and he didn't give the goal and then checked, yeah, you're right. But it seems like it's not, the push wasn't enough for him to turn around. I agree.
And then I didn't like Samir Handanovic raising. You're the captain, raising his hand, stopped playing. I think the other players were confused as well. You were confused. I was confused. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Is that a goal, or why did they stop? But again, I think, in my opinion, and now today, I don't know why was Conte suspended today. Did he have like a card suspension today?
Yeah, so he was in the Atalanta match. He got a yellow card, and so Stellini had to step in again. Yeah.
Okay. So in the rule in Italy, if you get 1 yellow card as a coach, you suspend in the next game, or it's 3?
No,
for the coaches?
I think it's because he already been suspended, and I think every time now, if he gets a yellow card, he'll keep getting suspended.
And did you feel the difference on the touchline?
I mean, of course, yeah. You can see you can hear the difference between Stellini and Conte. But at the end of the day, the players know what they need to do. Is this team knows exactly. Conte maybe gives you that extra pressure to do some pressings and stuff, but probably a lot of the times, I'm sure the players are happy when Conte is not there, because he's always just in the air. Sometimes you get a little bit of freedom to play.
But I want to give it to our guy here, Uncle Sharma, and he mentioned this before many times. Guys, we mentioned it. Barella needs rest. It's just very obvious. I don't know. When are they going to see this? The international break is coming. Mancini is going to kill him for the minutes. Come on, just give him a break. You do want him injured. Last 11 games now, you want Barella fit for the Napolis, for the Romas, you want him fit for the tough games. Like, this was supposed to be an easy game. But also, I saw the difference between Gagliardini and Vidal and Eriksen. Vidal and Eriksen give you the extras. It was very obvious. Even Eriksen came in. Maybe he did not play the massive game, but that slight movement here and there
Yeah,
gave a little bit of more options to Brozovic to go forward. Like it's just he knows how to. And I'm asking somebody if you are making I want to comp off Gagliardini's touches, his first touches, his passes, and I want to see what did he do, because in a game like this, and we mentioned this many times here and on other platforms, guys. Like, in my opinion, Gagliardini is very good in closing the game. Maybe if you're defending, if you're playing against a big team and you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and you want to close the game, Gagliardini is your guy.
yeah.
Against Torino, who had banks of 5, 4, and then even the other forward who's defending, Gagliardini is not going to give you that extra pass or that technical movement that other players give. Even Vidal has an extra step. The guy's a winner, like a lot of Champions League and like other stuff. So let me. What do you think? What did you think was missing that first half? It was like I gotta give it, like a lot of people said it was very flat. Like, what was missing? Is it Torino defending? Because we faced a lot of teams that defended like this before, but we were able to create something.
Yeah, but we have issues against these types of teams, don't we? We've seen, Shakhtar when they closed, we couldn't score 2 matches. Udinese, similar. We have issues against these teams. It's nothing new. Our team lacks, 1v1 people or people that are a little bit more creative, and the whole Conte system sometimes is a little bit too systematic. If it's just there's no freedom for players to try things. It's very methodical, so sometimes this can happen. So it's not a surprise, but obviously the rhythm was a little bit slow. Everyone seemed a little bit lethargic. We see these early kickoffs. I never like these early kickoffs. I always feel like the pasta in the players is still digesting. They're still, I don't know if the food is still not digested properly. They always feel a little bit slower in these early kickoff matches, and the rhythm was just not there. But yeah, as a lot of people here are saying, the most important thing, was the 3 points. This is all that matters, all that needs to be said. Let's take a few more comments from our audience. Lautaro FC feasting, yes, bro.
Yes, guys. Only watched the last 10 minutes. Another shit show, huh? If you watch the game, it's a typical Inter beginning of the season against a small team game. It was just lots of ball position, lots of crossing and inshallah and hopeful crossing.
As a put underneath, crossing inshallah is back. I think Mo tweeted it as well. It felt like one of those old games on the Spalletti, just launch the ball into the middle and hope for the best.
And can you explain to me one thing, Rahul here? Mm-hmm. Why Ashley Young came on? What was the point?
Yeah, that's the one I wasn't sure. He added nothing defensively. He added nothing attacking wise. He just made some fouls and a few bad passes, and it was very weird.
Do you know he had 70% only pass success? It's like, what?
70.
Just 70%. It's like lower than everybody else. Like, what is this? What? And he didn't cross. And at the end of in the last 15 minutes, people were crossing from the right side. Hakimi, Barella, even Skriniar was crossing. And Ashley Young was like late to get to the 18, or he was too far ahead. And it was just, to me, I think you started this weeks back, the Perisic revival against Ashley Young. Yes. And in the beginning of the season, I had a podcast with the guys in Inter Worldwide, and I said that Perisic will turn into another Alonso for Conte.
I remember you said,
Yeah. And maybe he had a bad game. Okay, you mentioned in halftime that you don't think he had a bad game. In my opinion, standard-wise, like Hakimi did not have the worst game, but he did not have his 7 out of 10 game. He had a 5, just flat game, a normal game. But I thought, if you put Eriksen in now this is Perisic time, because Eriksen comes in. He has more attention on him, because they left Gagliardini, by the way, in the first half to play. Like, give Gagliardini the ball. We know nothing's going to happen. But when Eriksen came in, they were closing on an Eriksen, and it was hard. So give Perisic a little bit of time because he was successful always when Eriksen was on the field, right?
In the first half, I think he had 2 crosses completed, 2 crosses attempted. So he was the only one that was making the cross, and he's a cross the inshallah expert. He was the one
Yeah,
in the
he's
Spalletti.
yes, yes. Us. It's to be honest, I'm just happy for the points, and every Inter fan should be happy.
Yeah.
The pressures on other people. Alexis is unbelievable when
Yeah,
he's
let's
healthy.
talk a little bit about Alexis. I feel like he made a big impact, big impact into the match. Obviously, he only had 10 minutes, so you can't do too much. But that one assist he made for Lautaro, a little, just the touches here and there, like it's so good to have someone like Alexis hungry coming onto the pitch. He knows he only has those few minutes, but he makes the most of those minutes, and it's such a blessing to have someone like that that's humble enough to accept that Lautaro is ahead of him in the team. We know Lautaro is the starting left forward with the Lukaku, but the mentality of him, he's got such a good career behind him, Alexis, and being humble enough to accept that Lautaro is ahead of him. But every time he comes on, this guy, he always manages to make an impact. So shout out to El Niño Maravilla.
Yeah. It's just to me, Alexis is a clear number 10. He's a behind striker player. So he thrives when he has two forwards ahead of him, and his job is to drop, get the ball, turn, cross, play that through pass. It was enjoyable watching Alexis playing behind Lautaro and Lukaku. He's very, very good. When you put him as a striker, it's not, maybe sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not the best position for him. He was a clear number 10 guy. He's really good. He's hungry, as you said. He's great.
Yeah.
Who was calm when the equalizer went in? And Musab, after that sloppy first 20 minutes, that first half, I was worried. Just 20 minutes, no shots on target, terrible crossing. I was worried. I thought, okay, the players are not focused. I don't know what's in their heads, but so after even we scored, I tweeted, "Are we gonna really drop back against Torino?" And they scored a goal right away because it's very obvious. What were you dropping against Torino, who their main thing is just crossing?
Yeah,
and we let them cross, and it was just right away they scored because of dropping back corners and
Zaza came on. Obviously, he was more of a physical presence in there as also just chaos, the physical chaos that they caused in there. Luke think that was a clear foul, but me and Mo kind of disagree. We feel like it wasn't enough of a. Maybe if the referee called it when it was, but it wasn't enough to be overturned. We said. Oh, Anthony's in the house. What's up, bro?
Yeah, Anthony, how are you, man? Oh man, early game for them. Go ahead.
Yeah, very early for those guys. So respect to those guys for waking up so early.
Yeah, guys, the Australian Inters.
Yeah, man, so much respect for those guys. Asians and Australians. Those guys that have to have crazy hours for those guys. This is one I wanted to discuss a little bit about Hakimi. I've been saying recently that I've been a little bit disappointed with his performances, and today as well, under subpar performance. He hasn't scored since the Roma match, I believe, and I don't think he's assisted for a while as well. So, what do you make? Are you worried? I know I asked you last time, and you said obviously he's young, so you're not worried. But is there any cause for concern with the Hakimi's performances? He doesn't seem to be able to adapt to these different teams that defend deeper. What do you think?
He's coming from Borussia Dortmund, right? Borussia Dortmund is a very counter-attacking team. They never, against, it doesn't matter who, they try to play the counter-attacking. So he is a counter-attacking guy. So to adapt to it, I got to give it to the guy. Players come to Italy and adapt in a year or two. The guy adapted in several months, right? He is. So to play a bad game, if Hakimi gives me a goal contribution of 10 to 15 goals, that's enough in terms of assists and scoring. And how many does he have now? He has 6 goals and 5 assists, or
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
So that's 11 already. Who has this other than Gosens in the league? Yes, he's gonna struggle against smaller teams, but he's gonna get used to it. Give him we bought one of the most promising fullbacks in the world, and he's 22, right? I'm not buying somebody that played against small team. The guy under his belt probably has less than 100 to 150 professional games, right, in a first team. So I'm not expecting somebody to come and adapt against Juventus, Milan, and Udinese, Parma. Like, they're very different. And Italy, big players came to Italy and said, it's very hard to adapt. Even Cristiano Ronaldo came and said, it's very hard, this league, to score. It's not Spanish, the league, it's not La Liga, it's not Premier League. It's pretty hard. So can you imagine a young kid coming in and his first season, and he's talking about Scudetto. It's very hard. The mental pressure on him is hard. So the Inter fans needs to give him a break a little. Like, he's doing his best. Maybe he needs to train to crossing, but I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they see what we see. I'm sure they do. But already doing great this season. He already is considered in the top 5 players of the season, isn't he? Can everybody argue this? He's apart from the 3 defenders, I think he has been our main, with Lukaku, the key for winning some of the games. So he's already to me, he's already in the Maicon ladder. He's in the Maicon ladder, right? Like, good Maicon in the beginning of the season, he was benched for Zanetti, right? And then because Maicon developed a lot, if you watch Inter in the second half of the 2000, Zanetti moved to the left back and the midfield because Maicon climbed the ladder and became one of the best fullbacks in the world. But it took Maicon was on the bench, guys. This great treble winning Maicon was on the bench. You remember Maicon
when he came from Monaco, he wasn't the complete finished player. It took some time.
It took some time. So Hakimi is gonna take some time as well. We paid 40 million, and by the way, 40 million in this day and age is not a lot. Cancelo is worth 55 million, and he sat on the bench with Guardiola a lot, guys. And today,
last year he hardly played, Cancelo.
Today, Cancelo is in the talk, and I'm not sure if you watch Premier League, he's in the talk of the best player of the season.
Yeah, not just fullback, because this guy has been playing center mid.
Yeah, we're talking about a fullback that was on the bench, and we're talking about the best player in the Premier League. And Hakimi, he hasn't scored for a while. Yes, he hasn't assisted, but his moments will come back, and we'll praise him, and it'll be good. That's what I think about Hakimi.
Yeah, no, spot on. I just like to bring up, points that, I just want him to, develop different parts to his game. But as you said, there's so much time. I'm not, getting onto his back. I'm just, saying that he's been a little bit disappointing for me recently. But yeah, nothing to worry about for me as well. So plenty of time for him to develop. And he seems to have the mentality. He's got the right coach, the right team. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get better and better.
Any questions?
Yeah, we got someone wants to see Sensi. Yeah, I wanted to see Sensi as well, ideally, but we know this probably wasn't really the match for Sensi.
Was he fit, Rahul?
He's on the bench. So that in Conte's doesn't take anyone on the bench if they're not ready to come onto the pitch. But yeah, it was good to see Vecino coming back. Virtual hug. Gerard said, yeah, he made a nice run at the end. You see Vecino. He got into the box towards the end. It was a nice run. You could see. I think Vecino still has a part to play in this team, especially with the Vidal's injury. What do you think of Vecino?
Absolutely. I think Vecino was not the best player when he played next to Gagliardini, and that was our midfield, right? But I think if you see Vecino in his national team in Uruguay, he's very good. He sat a lot of people on the bench in Uruguay. He sat Bentancur on the bench, right? And he was really good. So I think Vecino might thrive with Brozovic and Barella, because he is kind of guy who can get you he can get in the 18, he can score. He has a goal scoring contribution to the team. So I think Vecino, and he has a better touch than Gagliardini. I have to admit this.
That's so not hard.
Yeah, I have to admit that Vecino, if he's back to 100% fitness, he has a role in the last 11 games. He definitely has a role with Vidal's injury. Absolutely. It's good to see players coming back. It's a new signing for us. Extra player.
Exactly. No, yeah. I've always said that. I've always been a fan of Vecino's characteristics. Maybe if technically he's not that great. Sometimes, he's a little bit, runs a little bit like a headless chicken. But in terms of, in the key moments for Inter, he's always been there. And yeah, he's the late runs into the box. That's something that's very hard to teach. And Vecino is very naturally good at those things. So yeah, as Conte himself has said, he's got very unique characteristics. So yeah, he's got a role to play in this team to the end of the season. Chris said he defends Lautaro more than anyone in the Western Hemisphere. I fight the Lautaro hate far and wide. Well done, my brother. Well done. We need more people like you to defend Lautaro. We criticized, in the early on in the season, there was, the criticism was correct. He missed a lot of chances. His decision making, as we saw even in the Atalanta match, was a little bit, I think that's always going to be part of his game. That's the type of player he is. But this guy, the numbers, you look at the numbers, the number of chances he creates, not just for himself, for his teammates, how hard he works off the ball. He's got like defender, like when you look at his interception numbers, he's got like the numbers of a defender, the tackles made, interceptions made. This guy is like having a defender up front, like it's so vital to the system. So I'm when he misses chances, I give him a little bit of a pass because he's worked so hard those 5-10 minutes before you getting that chance that he probably is already out of breath by the time he gets to shoot. But today, that header was absolutely world class, Mo. I think that is a very underrated header because Alexis' cross was good, but the way that he had to go behind and get to the ball and put power because the
neck muscle to move. And Chris, you and Jerry Mancini, who is a Lazio fan, defended because we were all on Lautaro's back. We didn't like the missing chances, but I gotta say, guys, 14 goals. Okay, he's the same number as Ciro Immobile.
No penalties.
Ciro Immobile has 14 and Lautaro has 14. So the only attacking duo in the top, I think, 10 or in the goal scoring. Lautaro today, I think he played better than Lukaku, in my opinion. He played better than Lukaku. His movement, by the way, was absolutely spot on today.
Mm-hmm. Anthony says, without Conte yelling his ass off, we lack that last little bit of direction. What do you think about that, Mo? I think, it helps with the pressing, when he's pushing players to press, but I feel like players a lot of the times, they perform fine. It sounds nice to hear in the back, Conte shouting, but I think a lot of these players are fine without hearing Conte in the back. What do you think?
So there are two types of players in the world. The types of players who likes to have a coach telling them exactly what to do because the coach sees something that you don't see from outside. He sees a pass, he sees a movement right there. And some players, they just like to be left alone. And depends who you are. And it looks like to me that the Inter players that actual came up with Conte, the likes of Lautaro, Lukaku, they don't mind that. But the likes of Eriksen, he doesn't like this. The likes of Brozovic, he doesn't like. It's very obvious, when you see like Conte yelling and you see Brozovic looking like side of like, what do you want? I'm doing my job. I've been doing this for years before you even here,
Yeah, I think Mario made that point with Eriksen. He is, Conte's just mouthing off Eriksen, a guy who's created 150 goals or whatever he's created in the Premier League, a guy who knows how to do his job. And he doesn't need a guy who, Conte as a player, he was probably like a Gagliardini type of player. Obviously I didn't get to see him on a regular basis. It was after my time, but I've seen a few clips of him, and I've heard old Juventus fans tell me what type of player he was, and he wasn't a very technically gifted player. So it's probably, it's not probably the best person to hear these type of things from on the pitch sometimes.
Yeah, because most of his yelling at Eriksen, and Mario said that, was defending, was like, Eriksen, press here, Eriksen, go there, Eriksen, follow. I'm like, okay, well, how about Eriksen play the throw pass? How about Eriksen cross, So, yeah. Die. This is Allegri's thing.
Barella, yeah, as we said, Indro, Barella needs rest. He has 3 child, yeah, still trying for the fourth. Yeah, we need him to give some time to try for that fourth one. Maybe in the summer he gets some time.
Yeah, yes, but to be honest, I'm one of the guys when I play. I like people to tell me what to do because I know that they see something else. And some of the experienced players, they can make their decisions on their own. And even though with someone telling them what to do, they still see the pass and they see the movement and stuff like this. So it's very good to have somebody telling you what to do. It's just, it's imagine someone is you're cheating. Someone is giving you the code, right? It's a cheat code. Someone is telling you, look left. So you know that to look left, there is a fullback open, switch the field, stuff like this. It helps. But some players just don't like it.
Yeah, I mean Gagliardini definitely likes that. I know he needs to be told, go here. Some of these Conte players over the years, the likes of the Giaccherini, Parolo, we've seen with Italy, these types of players are almost, Conte's got like the controller in his hand. He has to tell them exactly where to go.
Darmian as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Barella likes it as well. But anyway, let's just.
Palm says Eriksen's pass. Yeah, his pass was nice zip to Lukaku, quick pass, and then Lukaku gave it to Lautaro, and we won the penalty from that. But we also need to mention Armando Izzo, Conte's boy. That was such a stupid penalty. Like, it's such a stupid tackle from behind. Like, where is Lautaro's going? Nowhere. There was no need for that tackle. That's why a lot of Inter fans were not happy when we were linked with Izzo. He's rumored that Conte likes him a lot. So yeah, I think this kind of performance shows that maybe he's not really the guy that we need.
Do you want my opinion on this? Sometimes players being linked to big clubs because of FIFA. If you play FIFA, you know that when you get like that team of the week card, I'm telling you, the paper is right about like that good player because of they play 2-3 weeks good, and then they get like people the hype on Twitter and stuff, and then they get linked and stuff. But
yeah.
Itzo has never did it for me. Like he's just a mid-table defender. He doesn't even have the physicality of a big defender to play for a big team.
That Bremer, actually, the left centre back for me, that we talked about it at half time. He the way he marked Lukaku, very impressive. Even at the end, in the 90th minute, when Lukaku did the step over and went, but he still managed to make the tackle. So he looks like a good talent.
Yeah,
this one I agree. Sorry, I disagree with very strongly. I know you do as well. We don't. I mean, I like Vidal. I know he's been disappointing for a lot, but saying he's the worst starting midfielder in Serie A is very strongly disagree with that one. I know you do as well, Mo.
Yeah, it's Vidal. He gives something extra to the team, right? Like there is no way the guy played for Juventus, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Inter, and he's a bad player. Like
Gagliardini is like Tacchinardi for you. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. Tacchinardi was that type of.
Do you know what I noticed later? Like Gagliardini does not defend like before. He doesn't press. He always nowadays he does this containing job instead of pressing, instead of getting the ball back, which is something that I thought Conte liked to get the ball back instead of just contain.
I think that's the whole change in the team now. We don't do that crazy high pressing we did at the start of the season. Now it's more okay. If Lautaro and Lukaku don't get the ball, everyone just
midfield.
We drop back. Yeah,
midfield. Yeah.
Chris says, I think our intensity. Thank you for all the comments, by the way, Chris. You're very active. I think our intensity was lower because they know Torino is so poor. Yeah, that's one of the things that when you play against these smaller teams, we always say is more mental. You have to, in your mind, you already think, okay, 3 points. We already got 3 points. It's because it's Torino and they're really bad this year. But on the pitch, no one gifts you anything. So this Torino team, they worked really hard today, but. Luckily, we took the rhythm up a step in the second half, and we got the result.
No one gifts Inter anything. Let's just put it this way, guys. Let's just put it this way. I've watched Inter for years, like 20 years or more. We're not a team that gets gifts, like gets a lot of own goals. Like it's 1 or 2 a season, like easy goals. We gotta work really hard to get something out of game.
Mossab, Locatelli for Gagliardini. That would be
Yeah,
the most amazing deal that possibly could happen.
yeah.
You know,
We can do
but
that. 60 million for 15 million. Yes, it's a good swap. Like Gagliardini is worth 15, Locatelli now is worth 60 million. So yeah,
yeah, I
it's
mean, maybe a few years ago that could have been possible, but now it's just impossible. Especially Sassuolo, they would never take a player like Gagliardini. They play nice, attractive possession football. I would never see them buying or even accepting someone like Gagliardini. But Locatelli, it looks like he might be apparently going to Juve, and that would be a big threat to the rest of the league if they get someone like Locatelli. That's the type of player they need. You know, that Pjanic type player. So that would be a big gutting loss for me. What do you think of Locatelli, Mo?
I like Locatelli. But I don't think he is yet the kind of player that leads a midfield. Like he's not the Brozovic yet. Like, but he is. In a year or two, he will be in the same level as probably the Barellas, and like he has everything at his disposal to be
Yeah,
a good Italian player. Like the physique, the passing, and everything, the shooting. And,
yeah. He scored yesterday. Nice goal.
oh man, yes, that was an absolute like the curve. It was great. It was great. It was very
Yeah,
nice. If you guys didn't watch that, go watch it on YouTube. It's very good goal.
yeah.
And uh,
Gerald said we didn't play good, but Torino surely didn't know. Yeah, Torino didn't. They hardly did anything the whole match. You know, I think what's the stats? Let me check quickly the possession stats. 69% possession, guys. You know, that's Torino didn't do anything, but in the end they had 7 shots, but not many of them, you know, were particularly troubling. In the first half, they had that chance where they should have scored that one that
yeah.
Bastoni slipped, and I think it was Lianco who hit the post and Lukaku cleared it off the line. You know, that was crazy chance they should have scored. But apart from that corner is all we said in the pre-match. You know, this Torino team, they're one of the highest scoring teams from set pieces, and they just managed to create chaos in there with their physicality. So apart in open play, they didn't create anything. So you know,
they had 3 shots on target, and we had 3 shots on target. Plus they had woodwork, so
yeah,
they hit the post. So they actually had more chances than us, to be honest with you. I felt like they had more chances. Like that chance in the first half, I thought they have more chances. I'm looking at the same stat, and
yeah,
it's that as Chris said. I can't remember who said it, that it's that the intensity goes down dramatically when you play like a team. You're thinking that you're gonna get an easy 3 points. So
yeah.
it is absolutely like. It's very like you need a different mental preparation for games like this. You need to be prepared that this team is going to sit back. It's a very slow game. You're not going to have that fast pace, and this is what you need to prepare for. But it's just a great 3 points and 69%, and oh man, that's a lot. But it's a good thing to have the ball, because that you prevent the other team from having any chance to score. But it's set pieces they're not easy to defend, and even though we have the height, but for some reason it's just our marking has not been great all season. Actually, maybe we did not get a lot of goals scored on us, but I don't see the marking great.
Yeah, no, you're right. There has been a little bit some lapses in concentration there. I think you're right. If we look back in each match, there's always 1 or 2 chances we give from a set piece.
And also, Handanovic doesn't come to collect anything anymore. Nothing.
He's never been that type of goalkeeper. He's never been a very commanding presence. But now he does it even less. He loves to stay on the line of the goal.
Yeah, it's. Okay. After let me ask you something. After today's, let me guys know what you guys think. Do you still back Handanovic, or you still want another goalie next season?
Yeah, comment below, guys. I'm sure most people will still want a goalkeeper. I think just because it's the same thing I'm saying with Perisic. You know, just because Perisic now is performing nicely at left wing, but doesn't mean now we don't need a left wing back anymore. Still, we need someone that's gonna, not maybe Hakimi level, but someone that's, similar to at least, potential to get to a Hakimi level or something. With Handanovic, he's definitely improved the last 2 months. But you have to be, when you're a big club, you have to be proactive. You can't be reactive. You can't, gamble next year once again, like, oh, okay, yeah, Handanovic will do the job. It'll be okay. He's giving you all the signals now that he's in decline. So you have to go out and find someone to replace Handanovic. For me, in my opinion, I don't think you can go another season with Handanovic as your starting goalkeeper.
I think we need to have a transition. I think we should have bought someone in January and have it a transition like Toldo and Julio Cesar. I mentioned that before, the transition that happened between them. But I think with COVID world, and if we don't sell shares and get cash in the club, we'll have to buy someone and do the transition between Handanovic and the new goalkeeper next season. Unless some money falls on somebody and we buy a 50 million euro goalkeeper, which is hopefully it will happen. I hope that because goalkeepers now cost as much as a top class defender or something. This is how much they cost now.
That's the issue. That I was saying in my someone asked me in my pre-match chat that who's your goalkeeper to replace Handanovic, and I said I need to look into this properly because it's very difficult to find someone that's in the right price range of we can afford him, but also have the potential to replace Handanovic. Because if as you said, any good goalkeeper now, it costs you upwards of 50-60 million. We've seen Kepa, Alisson, Edison, all these keepers are costing crazy money. Oblak has 100 million release clause or something. So top goalkeepers these days are maybe even more expensive than centre backs. It's a very, because there's such a scarcity. There's such a low availability of top quality goalkeepers these days. It's not like back in the days. You had teams used to be, you could just look at Italy back in the day. It used to be so stacked with goalkeepers. You had Peruzzi, Toldo, Buffon. That was a crazy level of goalkeepers. The high level of goalkeeper caliber. Nowadays they look for a different. They look for more of the. You have to be able to play with your feet before your actual goalkeeping ability. So it's something I'll look into my for what I think should be the goalkeeper, but it's something I need to look into a little bit more.
Yes.
But I'm seeing a lot of Ashley Young hate, which I'm happy to see because he, as Mo said and as I said, he did absolutely nothing when he came on. We don't understand what the reason was for his substitution. I mean, I guess maybe Conte saw that maybe with him cutting inside rather than Perisic going outside, there could be some opportunities that he could create. But
But it didn't happen, right? But it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. Yeah.
That's the question. It's but you want something, but it didn't happen at all. So yeah. I think we should not see Ashley Young again. I think so. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. Unless some injury happened, because if we have Darmian, Hakimi, and Ambrosio now, we have 4. I think Ashley Young should come 5th. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I would have rather put Darmian on the. I always say I would rather put Darmian left wing back. I agree with you. I think Ashley Young's time. I mean, his contract is finishing at the end of the season anyway, so I think is pretty much done. His time at Inter now. I don't really see the need to play Ashley Young anymore. Yeah. Maybe he can prove us wrong. He can always come up with a nice goal or assist here once in a while, but for now, he's not proving anything to me.
Did you see the Marcos goal yesterday?
Oof! Another this guy is like Barella. They only score nice goals. They don't score easy goals. What a oh, we got another guy coming in. 1 second, Idris, my guy from London coming in.
Oh.
Yo, my brother.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Hey, how are you, Idris? Nice to meet you, man.
How you guys doing, man? You alright?
I'm
good, bro. Man. Thank you for joining. Sorry about the link.
No worries. It's all good, bro. It's all good, man. What's up? How's everyone doing?
Yeah, we're good. We've just been discussing Ashley Young stinking up the pitch after he came on.
Bro, I had no idea why he put him on. I'll be honest with you. He brought nothing to this game. You know what I mean? Came on and just, from the first minute he missed his shot, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Just the passing, he was way too. Yeah, let's not get on. Let's talk about the positives first.
Yeah, let's talk about the positives, bro. Lautaro, this guy is obviously, if you know his Idris's @ on Twitter is @simply_Lautaro. So we know This guy is repping Lautaro.
Yeah, I think I follow you. I think
Yeah,
in this,
bro.
yes.
Yeah, we was interacting. Yeah, Mimo.
Yeah.
So,
But
what did you
okay,
what
did
did
you
you
see
make of the performance?
positives? Yeah.
You know what? Overall, bar the efficient part of it, he was okay. You know what I mean? He didn't do too much like the rest of the team. I wouldn't say there was any standout performances today, but I would say he got us the penalty. He scored the winner. I'm content. You know what I mean? Like in this type of game, it's just about being efficient. You know, he got the foul for us. He got the first goal. Then he got the winner. You know, that's enough for the win. Then I'll take that. You know, every single week, no problem.
What did you make of the whole performance of the team?
But I think we struggle when we play against teams like Torino, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I can't stand playing against teams like Torino. What they do is just from minute one, they just, told us, like, go attack us, have a go at us. And with Inter, we know our team very well. We love possession. We don't do much with it at the end, you know? And a team like Torino, first half, I was like, the first 10 minutes, it looked lively. It was getting the chances in, a couple of crosses. And then after the 20-minute mark, it was just dull. The crossing was just kept coming in, the crossing in Charlotte kept coming in, no outcome, and then no chances. We didn't even get a shot on target in the first half. So I literally think we gave Torino that confidence to just sit back, give us the ball, because we wasn't doing anything with the ball anyways,
Yeah.
So and then I feel like the minute we scored the goal, that's when they literally decided, okay, now we're gonna actually play football. Attacked us a little bit, and then that incident happened. They equalized, and then and that on. So not really happy with the performance, but we got the win. Like I say to you, bro, the win for me is the most important thing. If we win the game, I will rarely do any critiquing because we got the 3 points anyways. What's there to complain about? But had it been a draw, I might have had a different. Today's conversation might have been different.
Yeah. The reaction from us would have been a bit different.
Of course,
if you drop points.
man. We got the win, man. At the end of the day, that's a big 3 points. And I was tweeting a lot about Torino last week. I don't like that team, man. And even the last game, we was losing 2-0, made it 4-2. So that was a struggling game. The game last season, we won 3-0 at their ground, was also a tricky game. We got these goals through, little technicalities, the far post, the right goal, etc. So these are not games we've ever won convincingly. We've always struggled to Torino, So today I was like, look, they haven't won a game at home this season. How the hell are we expecting to win? Like no one's beating them at this ground, and how am I expecting Inter to do this? Because we're not really good with that pressure, But the boys, man, proud of them. They're not proud, man.
Exactly, man. And we also talked about Hakimi. We're getting more comments. Me and Mo talked about, there's some worries about Hakimi. He's been a little bit inconsistent recently, a little bit under subpar. What do you make of Hakimi? Are you worried?
I wouldn't say I'm worried. I feel like he's produced a lot for us already so far this season. The first 3-4 months he was amazing. I did mention I think I mentioned in the Milan derby, we did speak a little bit about Hakimi and how he dropped off of form. But it wasn't really of a concern. It was more so, I feel, is the technical part of Conte's tactics, I think. I think that's what's made him struggle a little bit, because at the beginning of the season, he had a little freedom. If you remember, he did these darting runs. Recently, I don't see him make these runs. He's more static, hold the ball, pass forward, pass backwards, make that cross. But where's that Hakimi beginning of the season that was doing like 1-2s and just sprinting down, No one's doing that anymore. No one's finding him. So I feel like that's the biggest part of his game has been taken away from him in terms of actually attacking defenders full on, So when you take a team like Torino, don't expect him to play like we're playing, Roma or an AC, who are a very open team that give him that space. Like today, he had no space, So yeah, I'm not too worried, man. He's already produced a lot for us, goals and assist wise. Lately he's been a bit, but it's okay. Like right now, it's a lot of pressure on him, and the rest of the team too. So he wasn't poor, but I wouldn't say he was great either. He was decent,
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. Nothing there to worry about. What do you make of this comment? Quite interesting. Would you start the Alexis, Lautaro, Lukaku trio against teams that park the bus? Well, you go first, Mo.
Okay, we tried this before. I don't think it worked, but to me, if you have Barella and Brozovic in the field, I think we can start Alexis Sanchez behind the forwards. But it will require, I think, another fullback other than one of Hakimi and Perisic has to step out. And I would put Darmian on the left because now you're missing one extra midfielder in the defense. So you'll need one of the fullbacks to drop faster back to cover, to create that extra guy. But I think, and to be honest, against teams that has banks of 5 and 4 in front of each other, the wing backs are not actually key in your game at all. Like they don't do anything because your wing backs are not the great crossers and they don't score. Your whole point is to try to penetrate by Barella and Gagliardini today, and maybe when Eriksen came in, that passing. So I would do it against teams like this, but I wouldn't risk playing 2 attacking wing backs and 3 forward. That's just too. That's like back to the 50s when they used to play in Brazil 5 defense and 5 offense. When they used to say like it's just 5 defenders and 5 forwards, and these guys defend and these guys go forward. And I would do it because switch Hakimi for Darmian today, and as Idris said, okay, there's no change, right? Like it's nothing more is gonna happen. It's just the same.
Yeah.
But maybe Darmian would have crossed better. Even Perisic had a couple of crosses. If Darmian was in, he was going to cross the same. So I would put a little bit of a defensive wing back for one of the 2 attacking ones. This is my opinion, but I would do it.
Well, what are you saying, Idris?
I'm kind of siding with him. I agree in terms of having Lukaku, Lautaro, and Sanchez starting, and especially keeping the same fullbacks is way too offensive. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's a team. You know, when we play teams like Torino, Dinez, they like to sit back, soak up pressure. But look, all it took was one counter for them to score the first goal, and we had this was without Sanchez. You know, so now you've added Sanchez in. You keep these fullbacks, and a team has 2 more chances. They may take 2 more chances and actually score them. You know, so defensively as well today, we was good. I felt like we just struggle a little bit more when we play these teams that defend well, because, you know, when Zaza came on, he with that little physical presence, you know, Verdi was quick with his feet, you know, pressured us a little bit. So I feel like keep bringing on Sanchez for me is the best thing in terms of that little 60-minute. Whenever he comes on, he brings something different. I don't know if you guys realized, but during the game, I didn't see any player try to take on a man except for Lautaro, right? As soon as Sanchez came in, I think this is like his second touch, takes it from the middle, beats that first man, makes that pass to Lukaku, and then that little interchange happens. And that's what I feel like we miss, you know what I mean? That would be Sensi, but obviously he's injured. So Sanchez brings that little spark to the team where teams don't expect us to attack them from the middle. They just wait for us to go on low sideways. But Sanchez comes and he does that little triangle, you know, tries to find space between the Lukaku-Lautaro area. And that's when teams start to, you know, push forward, pressure a little bit. And that's when you leave space and then you can attack, you know? So I feel like Sanchez right now, he's actually been very, very clutch the last 3-4 games. You know, he's doing very, very well. Whether he starts, it's another question, you know? Because I feel like when Sanchez has started sometimes in games, I feel like he goes missing a lot, you know? He's not really that impactful from minute 1. But then if you bring him in at the 60th minute, you get that little 30 minutes where he's just constantly going at you. He's hungry. Defenders are tired, you know, he's bringing new elements to the game, and then it opens up the game for Inter. We have another guy to score now.
Yeah. No,
that's the negative side, if you don't mind. This is the negative side of playing the 5. If you don't have and I said that before, if you don't have the likes of N'Golo Kante, the likes of the defensive midfielders that can cover 2 players, that's the downside. You cannot have a clear number 10. This is why when N'Golo Kante was not playing for Chelsea, Conte used to only play Hazard next to Costa. But when N'Golo Kante was there, he used to play 3 forwards. And then, as Idris said, it's too offensive. So the only way Alexis Sanchez struggles from the beginning when he plays the second striker. That's not his position. Alexis Sanchez was never a second striker for a team that has the ball. He was a second striker for Udinese on a counter-attacking team, and he thrives. But to play Alexis Sanchez behind Lukaku and Lautaro would be great because he would have all the freedom that Idris talked about, that dribbling, like there is no pressure because he's between the lines. But you need a defensive midfielder that can cover for 2 lungs in the midfield, which we don't have now, because even Barella is a 60% offensive player than other players like in the world, where they're like 60-70% defensive, quick, recover, lots of interceptions in the game. That's what we're missing in the team to play the 5-2-3, either wingers or a triangle with 2 forwards and 1 behind. So that's what we're missing.
Yeah, well, that's why Conte wanted Kante in the summer. That's why that's why he was pushing. He was trying to. But I'm happy that the 3-4-1-2 in the end didn't even work out. But I had a question here from Snudges, who said your top 3 flops and tops of the match. So let's just do some quick rating. I've got the who scored ratings up here. They gave Lautaro Martinez man of the match. Do we agree? I would say Lautaro Martinez was man of the match because he had a goal, and then technically, winning a penalty, I think it should count as an assist. So he had a goal and assist for me. So he's the man of the match. What do you guys think?
Yep, agreed, bro. Totally.
Absolutely. There is no question here.
Okay, and let's pick two more then. Our Snudger says top three tops and flops. So I would pick. Who would you guys pick? Actually, let me ask you guys.
I would say Barella one. I feel like although he wasn't that great when he came to end product, he was the engine of the team today. You know, I mean, Brozovic was on and off during the game, but Barella was present from minute 1 to like 90th minute. So I definitely think Barella should be another one of the highlights so far. And one from defense, right? What would you guys say from the defense? I thought they all played a great game, to be honest. You know. So,
yeah, I would pick Eriksen. I feel like Eriksen made a good impact into the game when he came on. Maybe he didn't have direct involvement in the goal, but his pass led to the penalty, and I think he added a little bit more technicality. So for me, I would add Eriksen in the top three. What would you say, Mo? Who would you add?
I would do Lautaro, Alexis Sanchez, and Stefan De Vrij today.
Okay. Sanchez.
I forgot Sanchez too. Yeah.
And also De Vrij today. I would have picked Skriniar, but he got dribbled a couple of times by Verdi. But actually today I liked Skriniar going up from the right side. He was better than Bastoni, but Bastoni is.
What did you guys make of like the defenders and the offensive line? I felt like today it was just a bit too much. I felt like I understand why there wasn't much creativity in the midfield with Gagliardini, etc. But I just felt like the fact that we was always starting our chances with our fullbacks, it showed a lot of vulnerability. Like it lets the team know that we don't count on our midfield to create chances, and we was constantly weighing on our fullbacks to make something. Like with Bastoni on the right and then left, and then Skriniar on the right. It's like we had no other creativity bar these two. And if these two didn't do anything, then we'd not make a chance. And I felt like it was good, but at the same time, it was a bit too over reliant on it, and I didn't really like that about the system approach to today's game.
Yeah, but they Torino, they squeeze you in the middle. So every they had a 5-3-2. Everyone was in the center, so there was no space to go through the middle. That's why you always need an early goal against these teams, so they come out a little bit, because otherwise they just. That's why we were seeing a lot of those overlapping centre back runs as well today. We saw Skriniar, Bastoni almost being playing like fullbacks at some points. We haven't seen that for a while, but sometimes against these teams, you just have to do it just to. Get more numbers out there. But yeah, I see what you mean. But I agree with you guys. So top three, we say Martinez,
Sanchez
De Vrij.
to me.
Yeah, Sanchez. I put Sanchez in there as well.
Yeah,
I have to put Sanchez in. So we're the third guy is maybe Eriksen, maybe Barella, maybe De Vrij.
That one up for opinion.
The third is up for grabs. I feel like no one really merited the third.
All right, but also we have to mention Lukaku is the calmness in the penalty is not easy, right? It's not easy.
0-0 down. We haven't created a chance. It's a chance to take 3 points in the game. I'll be honest with you. I don't know for you guys, but I had no pressure. I knew he was putting that back.
No, that's why I want to touch on that, because he's got 100% penalty record at Inter, and it doesn't seem to be talked about, because this guy does not miss penalties. Like, this guy is ice cool. And he always sends the keeper the wrong way. If you see, like,
14 out of 14. It's just a little step, and then the little push to the. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Amazing goal, great finish.
I just want to add something, guys, before we move on from the two center backs today. I think Bastoni and Skriniar, and I'm looking at the stats. Bastoni had 109 touches, and Skriniar had 102. I think that's a record for the two center backs together. That never happened before. I never seen this before.
Yeah.
But I give the excuse to be honest, to Bastoni's side because of the Gagliardini presence.
Yeah.
Because Perisic trusts Bastoni more than Gagliardini, and I think that's a fact. It was very obvious for me that he trusts him with giving the ball. But there was no excuse for Skriniar to be that high on the field with Barella, Lukaku, and Hakimi.
That's what I was trying to say. I feel like the creativity was lacking from the left, not the right. The right, we always had Barella and Hakimi having that position. But down there, it's like Bastoni doesn't really have much choice but to get involved in the attack, because Gagliardini doesn't really produce much offensively. He's just, a decent midfielder.
He's just there.
Yeah, he's just there. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not here to bash Galladini today or anything. It's not like he was the worst. He didn't. He's so average. There's nothing to say about him. Like, he made a few runs. You know what I mean? He was attacking well. 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see somebody mentioning Perisic being the flop of the match, and that was one of my opinions, and Uncle Sharma here disagreed with me. But but I think you Rahul, you built him up so much for people that people now are expecting a world-class performance from Perisic every game. You made that clear to everybody that Perisic is a world class. So people are expecting Ronaldo every time he makes a step on the field.
I always saw the small print whenever I hyped up Perisic. I always said, I'm just saying he's better than Ashley. I'm not saying he's like a world class left winger. I'm just saying he's better than, that's all I'm saying. Small print. I'm not. Don't hold me to like next 100.
You're the one who did this.
He started the agenda, Perisic agenda. He has to end now. He has to end with a title, otherwise they're gonna be on his neck, man.
But yeah, for flop of the match, guys, it has to be the top 3 flop of the match. Has to be Ashley Young has to be in there.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. I think Gagliardini also has to be in there. Not because he did anything badly, as we said, but he didn't provide anything extra.
Yeah. No, you know what bothered me about Galladini is he got into great positions. That's why I liked about him in the first half. Like, he was doing very offensively. I was like, wow, he's actually picking up nice spots. But then when he got to these parts, it's like nothing happened. You know, I was like, I would have rather had you just sit in the midfield, let someone else try what you're trying if you're not gonna have any end product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd definitely put him in my my top 3 list.
And then who's the third flop? No.
I would pick Ashley Young and Ashley Young and Ashley Young.
Top 3.
This is my top 3 because as I disagree with Idris a little because Gagliardini, you know when you're like if you like bring me to play for Inter and put me on the field and okay, so I didn't do good. Okay, it's expected. You put me on the field. You put a Gagliardini. It's like, what are you expecting from him? It's nothing. But Ashley Young had something in him, right? Like, we knew that he has something in him. He's not a terrible player, and he was never a terrible player. But he was just out of the game. He came in, he missed the first 3 passes right away.
Yeah, I saw that.
So this is why, to me, Gagliardini is not a flop. It's just his performance will rate him as Gagliardini. This is his rating. So,
thanks for the shout out for my Coke glass. So Coca-Cola, if you want to sponsor the live stream, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
We just sponsor ourselves, man. Inter Milan, man.
Yeah, we're looking for one.
Manscaped. If you guys are looking for. We had a question for the whole panel. You think Eriksen will stay after the summer, King Darian? What do you guys reckon?
Idris, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. It's a good question, honestly. I feel like there's certain factors, yes and no, depending on how the season progresses towards the end. If Conte stays, it's not. If it's a personal reason, I feel like Eriksen's happy at the club in terms of the status and stuff. I don't think many other clubs could distract him from moving away from our club. So I'd say if it's anything, it probably maybe either it's the financial thing, financial problems at Inter Milan, which could force us to sell him, or really we get a new manager if Conte doesn't stay this summer and he's not happy and he leaves. So it's 50-50. I could see him stay. I could also see him leave. Either way, I'm okay with the situation. As much as I love him.
What about you, Mo?
If we win Scudetto, in my opinion, he might leave because Real Madrid. The only thing about Eriksen is his wage. His wage is high, right? So the top clubs are the only clubs that can afford to pay his wage. And I think if you win Scudetto, people come for your players, especially Inter. You remember after the 2010, they came for everybody.
Of course. We became Monaco.
Yeah. So I think if we win Scudetto, maybe Real Madrid, they want to replace Modric and they want to replace these guys, and they haven't been in the market for the last 2 windows. So the only club that can pay his wage, clubs from Premier League, and he already been there, done that. So I think he's looking for Real Madrid or Barca is out of the question. So I think we win Scudetto. I think there's a 50% chance someone will come knock on the door, offer him 10 million a season and offer us 30 million, and then we'll sell him. This is...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. Personally, I don't see him leaving. The situation now, I just don't see. As you said, only big clubs can afford his
Yeah,
wages.
yeah.
In the January window, they were saying like West Ham, teams like these, like why that would have been so embarrassing for him. Leaving Spurs and then going back there to like Arsenal or West Ham. That would have been such a L for Eriksen. But now he's gone back to his normal level, normal standards. His value has gone back up. I don't see him leaving. Conte likes him now. I see Conte staying as well now. So I see
Yeah.
both him and Conte staying.
And
And
the
I was also
Euros
gonna
as well. The
Yeah, and I was
Euros.
also gonna say, if we, because I feel like we might be able to get rid of Vidal in this summer. Gagliardini, since he might not be, possibly at the club this summer, because we know why. So I feel like with so many midfielders in doubt in their futures at Inter, it gives him the highest chances to actually stay at the club. Because a
Yeah.
lot of the midfielders might not be here next season. So, and he's clearly one of our better midfielders. So yeah, I could see him stay as well, and I'd like him to stay. Honestly, I like Eriksen as a player. He's different.
Let me ask you guys something. If we get a midfielder like DePaul, who do you think should be benched?
I don't think anyone can be. As I said in my pre-match, I felt like we needed the Paul because there was things that he adds that Barella didn't add when I wanted him. But now Barella's adding those things. He's adding goals and assists to his game. He carries the ball a little bit more now. And on the left centre mid, we needed someone a bit more technical like Eriksen. Whereas I think De Paul will be too similar to Barella now. Not that I wouldn't have someone like De Paul still, but he plays for Udinese. He plays that right centre mid position. He's good at he does the same thing as Barella. He goes out wide and he whips those ball in. So honestly, I wouldn't have De Paul in this team anymore, even though I feel like he's the perfect Conte type player.
I would say, to answer your question, I feel like if it have to be one of the midfielders, I'd probably see Eriksen being the one that be sacrificed out of the three for offensive reasons. With obviously Brozovic and Barella, like Sharma just said, has improved like amazing, massively in his offensive goals and assist contribution. I feel like with Eriksen, literally the Paul produces what Eriksen does, but the only thing I feel like is like the Paul has a high ceiling, and if he was to sign the Paul, he can only get better from here, and he's already producing crazy numbers at Udinese, and I feel like in Italy, staying in Italy at a big club with Conte, linking up with Lautaro Martinez, it's the perfect environment for him to thrive and continually get better. And he knows the tactics well. He's a leader at this club. I feel like he may not be on Eriksen's level, but I feel like he will just bring something else to this Inter team in terms of his personality, his characteristics on the pitch.
Yeah. What about you, Mo?
My thing is I would like to drop Brozovic, not for DePaul, but for another player completely. I'm more of a guy that likes the defensive mid, the likes of the Portuguese Danilo,
Okay.
the William
You
Carvalho.
like the physical. You like a proper defensive midfielder.
He likes the Thomas Partey's basically, right?
Yes, I like the party where he did the so and I wouldn't like a Matic because Matic is too slow, but I would like Matic 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I want someone to protect, to give Eriksen and Barella, and even if DePaul comes in, I like to give players freedom, which is why the coaches like Conte, even Guardiola, they like when he got Rodri, he wanted Rodri to be the physical guy in the midfield, to give everybody the freedom to go to the 18, the Gondogans to go to the 18. We need Eriksen to have less worries about, okay, I need to track back because Brozovic is not that fast. I need the Kante. So I think we don't have that guy on that team. The squad has the technical, has the runners, has the headers, has the tall, the short guys in the midfield. We don't have the physical defensive midfielders.
Yeah, the destroyer. I get it.
Yeah.
I feel that. I agree. Because I feel like when we have Brozovic in the midfield, as great as he is defensively, I'm always, because sometimes with his style of play, he's a great player, but very lazy, in his approach. When it comes to tracking back, something that's bothered me for years is just his laziness in this position. Like, you see him lose the ball, hands in the air, tracking back very slowly. He's not that guy like Kante that will come and just take a leg out, do something. He's very chill in his decision making, which is good because it stops him from getting, a lot of extra yellow cards, etc. But like you said, if we had a guy like Partey who just simply got the balls back consistently, it gives players like Eriksen the freedom to roam, going attackingly, knowing that he doesn't have to worry because he's got that great CDM behind him, making sure that line is not to be broken. So I understand why you'd say you'd replace Brozovic with a more defensive midfielder. I agree.
Yeah,
What about you, Rahul?
Yeah, I'm on the same lines. I feel like I love Brozovic in general. I've always been a big fan of his, but I feel like if there is a player that can be improved upon, we're not saying that Brozovic is bad, but if we add someone with those physical qualities in there, athletic defensive midfielder, as you guys said, that would give the freedom to our midfielder. So that would be my if there was one way to improve on the starters in this team, which I don't think is quite easy to do apart from the left wing back position, obviously, I think that would be a position where we can definitely find someone different from Brozovic.
Yeah,
but there's one thing I wanted to discuss. Hristo, he's quite on Twitter. Everyone knows him as a Handanovic hater. I didn't actually rewatch the goal too much, but could he have done better on their goal?
Do you know what? Yeah, he could have. But I feel like it's just he was so confused in what was going on. Even myself, I'd even look at the goal. I just saw so many bodies falling on the floor that I didn't even realize they scored. I was like, surely has to be a foul in between, these actions. And then I saw the replay, and Handanovic was just standing there, and the ball came in so slowly, and he just parried it, but it wasn't enough for him to push it away. I was like, okay, maybe it's because he thought automatically that's going to be a foul to Inter, so he didn't really try his best. But yeah, that was just another controversial situation,
Oh, damn it. Cagliari already conceded to Juve.
Already,
bro.
No. Yeah. Guys, it's that the players at that goal, they convinced me that there's an absolute howler in there happened. Someone got killed. They cut somebody's leg in the 18. They were like
3 players on the floor.
What did you guys make of the Skriniar situation? You guys spoken about this already? The 2 pushes on him before the foul. What did you guys make of it? Did you think it was should have been a foul to us, or
no? We said it. We said it would look pretty soft. I mean, we said if it was a foul, but because the referee didn't give it originally, then VAR couldn't overturn it because it wasn't.
I just feel like if it was the other way around, this wouldn't be in that conversation. It's definitely
that's
the only reason why I complained about the situations. If refereeing was always fairly in his decisions, I would gladly say, okay, this isn't the foul. But I know if it's the other way around and it happens to my team, we're not getting that goal. So that's why I'm always hesitant in making these decisions. Because this referee, saw this game, the entire game. I'm thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? That Lukaku foul, every single decision. Sometimes Torino players were losing the ball because they couldn't hack the pressure, and he was just giving a foul to them. Losing, letting them lose the pressure that we just put on them. And I feel like the whole game, the referee was just helping that Torino team just deal with us much easier. Wasn't letting us press. Even Lukaku at one point, I think he was just trying to block a clearance. The centre back kicked him, fell, and it went against us. And even the Lautaro one on Ito. He fell, Lautaro didn't touch him, and it was supposed to be a corner for us, goal kick. So situations like this stop us from building momentum in the game, and it's very, very annoying, especially when you play a team like Torino. You need this corner because who knows, we could have scored from that header, But yeah, man.
Do you guys think that we only think this because we are Inter fans?
I don't know. For years, I thought it's just me making excuses, but then coming on Twitter, realizing it's just we all feel the same way. I'm like, surely it's not me going crazy when I'm seeing this. It has to be a problem because every year my friends are like, this guy is crazy. He's always mentioning referees, but I'm like, I'm not joking. You need to watch these games with us, and you wonder why mentally we're just not up there anymore because it's stress. Stress.
You were not here, but I said it. It's Inter. We don't get the call. And it's not clear and obvious, so they don't reverse it.
Yeah,
while other teams, they get the call, and it's not clear and obvious, so it does not reverse. So it's as clear as this.
When Lautaro got fouled, I was convinced they might have to look into VAR. Because even me, I was like, look, I know it's a penalty, but I don't know if these guys are going to try something shady, might try to check the VAR, see. But then I saw the replays, I was like, listen, there's no way in hell. It has to be so clear that I know if they cancel it, that's something we can talk about after the game. But look, this is clear negligence. They're doing this clearly against Inter because the clip is here. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm these chances to be 100% for us to be like, okay, now I can rest. But
to be honest, on the goal edges, I think our players defended bad.
I agree. Yeah.
There's no excuse here. There's no excuse. You have the height. You have the strength. You need to defend better. There is no. foul or whatever, you need to clear the ball better. This is
I agree. Yeah,
because it's the
100%,
second
100%.
time.
Yeah, 100%. I felt like it was the pressure in the game that made them do what they did at that moment. You know, we just scored the first goal. That was their first chance in about 15 minutes, and you just felt that in the players. You know, getting that corner from the Ashley Young, I was like, something is happening here. I could just tell. You know, I looked at the players' faces. You know what I mean? They looked a bit off confidence, and then they scored the goal. So, but yeah,
we made the mistake that we talked about. We dropped back after we scored. How many times on this platform and in other platforms we talked about this?
Exactly. But then the Hakimi chance, bro, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Hakimi puts that one away, it's 2-0. You know what I mean? I feel like it always happens in every game.
It was offside, I think.
Was that
offside? Yeah, it was, but they didn't call it. But I thought that was offside. That ball to Lautaro, ball to Lautaro, I thought that was offside. They just didn't call it.
Inter will score that first goal, and it happens all the time. We will get a chance or two guaranteed after we score that first goal. We do not put these away and we concede. It's always been like this. And the difference between us and Juventus is they score that first goal, they get that second chance, and they do you again, and that's it. Just like that, they've ended the game. But Inter, we miss these chances, and we invite these teams to come back at us and actually have faith in actually taking something from us, because we ourselves don't want to finish the job. And I feel like every manager we've had, I feel like there's some differences, but it's never been, okay, we now punish teams. We never punish teams. You know what I mean? We could be 3-0 up, and I still know as point Inter, there's a chance in that team. If they score one at 3-1, that game is not over. They can win. They can go on to get a draw or win, because we're just. I don't know what it is. I don't know. What do you guys make of this? How do you feel?
I think this team is now starting to show that it's different from these other. I agree. Like, over the years, there's always been really like that, but now I feel like this Inter team, I've been saying for a few weeks, this match, the Atalanta match, you know, these matches where in the past I'm 100% sure we would have conceded, but this team is now, seems like it knows how to, you know, take a match over the line. Sometimes, you know, even if it's a 1-goal advantage, you just need that ability. You know, I'm pretty certain this team, this match last year or years before, we would have got like a 2-2 draw or something like that.
I thought we'd lose it. If this was like a couple of years ago, we're losing this game. I just feel like, this game was way against. It's like the odds were crazy against us. Even me, as much as I knew we was defending well, I knew this game was going to be tricky, so I wasn't even surprised. But I'm proud of the boys. I feel like you just said, the Parma game, the Atalanta game, that should have been 3 games in previous years where we wouldn't have probably gotten the win out of, you know, going from being the winning team. So I'm proud of the boys. You know, they're holding on to leads now, and the more we're winning games like this, the stronger we have in understanding of how to win certain games like this. You know, now we know how to win games there. We've done it
exactly
3 times in a row now. So now it's the thing where if we do play teams offensively, we'll beat them because we're better offensively than anyone in the league. But if it comes to defensive games, we've just showed in the last 3 games we can also win games ugly. So now I'm like, okay, we found a winning formula in both offensive wins and defensive wins. So consistency now, 8 wins in a row. We're doing well.
I think the best game that represents this is the Lazio game. 2-0. They come 2-1, and then we never lost focus. We went and scored the third. I think this is when I believe that Conte now has his stamp on this team, the resilient and the focus. I think this is where I believe that, okay, now it's the Pazza Inter is not as before.
But then, I feel like even at the Juve game, if we was to win a Juve game 2-0 in the first half in like 3 years ago, we all know as Inter fans that game is not finishing 2-0. Like even the that game when they won 3-2 last 2 years ago, was it? When they won the Higuain winner?
With
that situation. Like, look, like we all know, even though we've been in so many winning situations against Juve, we always knew that it wouldn't last that long in that match. But after that 2-0, I was like, okay, these boys did it against Juve. Couldn't let them score 1 goal. Like, this is a clear statement. Like, that's when I was like, you know what? It's time to change my thinking about this team, and, you know, give them the respect, man. They deserve it right now. So far,
Conte said he wants dominance, so.
Yeah, and we're doing it well, man. Listen, a lot of fans are hurting right now, but this is how you win titles. You don't win games 3-4-0 every week. You know, that's not how. If you watch the Juve previous seasons, there's so many games they've won scrappy 3-1s and 3-2s and 2-1s. You know, and the 1-0s. They've done that. Everyone does it. It's a matter of they're hurting because other teams can't do what Inter do right now. So, you know,
exactly. Speaking of continuing dominance, Bin asks about the next match. Let's just wrap up everything on closing thoughts on Inter Sassuolo. Obviously, we know Sassuolo, last 2 games are hard. Is it going to be like that all games? Sassuolo, you know, they've shown over the years they've been a bit of a bogey team for Inter. Last time round, though, we beat them 3-0, and we were without Lukaku as well, which was, pretty big surprise for me. What do you guys think of that? I think that's going to be a completely different game. I think Sassuolo are going to have the ball more than us in that game compared to this one where we had 69% possession. I think we're probably going to have around 40% in that one. What do you guys make of that match?
I think, in my opinion, Sassuolo is an easier game than Torino and Parma for Inter. Much easier.
Yeah,
It's a very straightforward game for Inter. The plan is like, let them have the ball and then counter with Lukaku.
yeah,
This is
because
as
they're
simple as
the
this.
team that plays the way we want the team to play. They will give us space. They will give us, all that space to run into for Lukaku and Lautaro.
If there's a team I'd enjoy playing against, it's teams like Sassuolo that actually attack us. That's when I feel the most comfortable watching Inter play, because teams that don't sit back, give chances, create chances for us. And with players like Lukaku, like you guys just mentioned, it's just a matter of passing the ball to him sprinting, give us a goal. I think we're conceding 100%. I know there's a goal in that Sassuolo team because they're Caputo, on fire,
Apparently they've got a midweek game as well.
Yeah, they've proved against every team that they're a high-scoring team. The Napolis, they've showed against the Hellas Veronas. So they've made a clear statement that they're going to go to San Siro and put some goals past us. The only question is, can we put more in? And I believe so. Playing at home as well, I feel like it won't be a straightforward win for sure. But it'll be, I feel, a convincing win that we will deserve to win. So I feel like we'll win that game, hopefully.
It will definitely be a nicer match to watch.
Yeah, much more, relaxed. Today I was worried about how the hell we breaking this down. I couldn't see it on my TV. But we're playing this Sassuolo, you're just going to see from minute one, just see them charge against you, just be press against press, A beautiful game of football, So we're going to enjoy that one for sure.
Yeah, Nick Knox, 2 goals. Cristiano Ronaldo, now he has a 22. And
it's okay, man. Right now, the game is Milan-Napoli. That's the game we're going to be focusing on tonight,
Yeah.
Someone
Juve's out of the Champions League. This is...
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm not saying Juve are not out of the Scudetto. For sure, they're still in it. But I'm just saying in terms of direct rivalries right now, I'm looking at AC Milan. Juve are doing their thing secretly. But right now, this game was more important for us in terms of looking at AC Milan because of today's game. Napoli, they got all their players back today, so they could hopefully do us a favor today, try get a result. So
Nangolan has been piss poor apparently.
Bro, he scores 1 goal. We see on Twitter for 5 months, and then he goes. That's it.
I really want Inter fans to forget about these players. Like, we're so focused, and I see on Twitter we're focused with Nangolan. It's like we're holding a grudge against the guy. Forget about him.
I'm gonna clip this and send it to Anthony.
Yeah. Like, seriously, like Anthony. Yeah, I just say, I know that he has been shit for us. But come on, just forget about him. He's nobody. He's gonna get relegated, and he's nobody.
I agree. But you know what? I understand why Inter fans are frustrated because when he's gone on loan twice now, right? And the first time he went on loan to Cagliari, he was amazing. And I'm thinking, why couldn't we get this from you during our campaign? You know what I mean? Like he did. Don't get it twisted. Like the UCL games, he was performing at the beginning, but not on the level he was showing at Cagliari in this first loan season. I'm thinking that's a bit unfair. You know what I mean? As Inter fans, we welcomed him, even though the whole bullshit about Roma and how he wanted to go back. We forgave him. We gave him another chance. He didn't prove anything. He went on loan. We gave him another chance to come back, proved nothing, and now he's back again. And he scored 1 good goal against was it Sampdoria? Was it? So yes, I'm like, yeah, you're right, but we should forget about it. We're on our way to winning the league right now. He's the least of our concerns. We've got to be
absolutely. I'm not gonna use 1% of my brain to think about Nainggolan, who is like a dead player to me.
Yeah, of course. we got Barelas and the Brozovic's and the Eriksen. He's the least of our concerns. You know what I mean? But DiMarco, on the other hand, like I'm happy people are talking about DiMarco. Like I do be watching him recently, although I heard we can't buy him back now. So that's a bit of a disappointment. I thought we had a buyback option on him. No.
Well, there's different reports on it. Some sources say there is like a gentleman's agreement, not written. But yeah, we've got good relations with the Hellas Verona. So if you do want to bring him back, I'm sure it wouldn't be much of an issue. So we'll see. We'll definitely deserves to come back. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much. We've had a pretty nice long chat today. Thank you for both of you to joining. I've left both of their Twitter @ below. So make sure to follow up both those guys. Mo, thank you every time you come on. Give me your time and your great analysis every single time.
Thank you, man.
Tactician. No, you're good. You're a good one, man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
My
guys.
guy Idris, obviously, my Always comes through. Today not a big match for once.
You know, this game was as big as the Atalanta one. For me, honestly, I was so proud, man. I was so happy when the final whistle blew. I was like, you know what, I have to come and say something. There's a lot to talk about today, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, guys,
important.
everyone make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you for the Sassuolo one. Forza Inter, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go, boys.